denying us marriage right is denying us equal citizenship. It is as simple as that.
So I know that there's a big divide on this. Nikita Prakash and Sayantika Majumdar are a couple and both LGBT activists. In this case, they in March went viral for their open video request to legalize same-sex marriages, in which they spoke against the centre's decision to oppose same-sex marriage. Nikita and Sayantika from Bangalore. And the first question I want to deal with before I go into the issue itself is, viewers, let's be clear. I don't want to beat around the bush. The hashtag is there. You tell me yes or no. I'll put the number out. Right, Ashok? If the number says 90% are against, I'll put the number out. Yeah. If the number says 90% of my viewers are for gay marriage, I'll put the number out. Center says that this is urban, elitist, small number of people who are against the popular will of this country, are trying to change things, and that these important things cannot be decided by the courts of the country. It has to be decided by the Parliament of India. The Parliament and the government is elected to make laws. Supreme Court cannot decide on issues such as this. Your take on that first, Ashok.
First of all, the first same-sex marriage I had reported was from a small town near Bhopal of two police women. I had reported it for the Week magazine when I was the bureau chief. What I want to say is that it is not an urban demand. It is a demand by the whole community which has been decriminalized. Once it has been decriminalized, it is equal to the other citizens of this country and demands citizenship rights. So that the natural way to go is to go for same-sex marriage. So I do not agree that that same-sex marriage is against the culture and it is an urban phenomena. I don't agree. If you read Ruth Vanita's book, which is a research book, it's called Same-Sex Rights and Same-Sex Marriages in India. She goes over nearly 200 years of history to show same-sex marriage was accepted in India long before it was made legal or illegal or whatever by British laws. So I think we need to look at our history, and we should not look at the West. I am today extremely disappointed with the fact that there have been sayings in the Supreme Court which practically reflect American civil society thing. For example, that you are not gender and genitals are not connected. I do not think we should go that way. Once you have
basic thought
your
is,
gender
Ashok,
and your
basic
sex,
thought is,
then
basic thought is,
equal before the law.
thought is, don't push change so fast, right? We are not ready yet. Don't push it too fast. Don't shake things up. Go ask the people of the country. That's the argument. Why don't you ask the people? If you want to have, one second. Whether we have a uniform civil code or not in this country, right, is to be decided by the government.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then the court can decide whether the uniform civil code is constitutional or not constitutional. But what the government is saying, you can't take away that right from the government. Otherwise, what are we? If a government doesn't decide, who decides? That's the argument tonight. To which the counter argument is,
you can't wait for the government to decide.
No, you can't wait. Okay, he can't wait. 1 minute, Sayantika, 1 minute. I can see that you can't wait either. 1 minute, 1 minute. He says he can't wait for that, Rahul. He says he can't wait for the change. We need the change now, he says.
Just two submissions. One, due respect and proper respect to the homosexual community and their fight. All the best. I diverge with them. The two core arguments are nature and culture. But I would like to take another line too here. There are a lot of people who are having an inhibition. So more education, sensitization, debate, discussions are all needed. So Parliament is the right space. Let the will of the people, the mood of the nation also wants to know and decide such things. So nation should know the nuances of it. So why not Parliament discuss it is a very legitimate question that anyone
but
can
Parliament
ask.
will never agree, Rahul. Be clear. Parliament, political parties will never agree on it. For the next 100 years, it won't happen, Rahul.
Arnab,
Arnabji, we have to take it slow because and one more thing, nobody disagrees with decriminalization. Arnabji may remember, nobody disagrees with decriminalization. There are even sane voices around the world like Pope Francis, Indian government, who all says we agree with decriminalization. But marriage is a totally different ball game altogether. And please don't go to the extent of saying there is nothing called a biological man or a woman. Just like our Honorable Chief Justice said, I'm a huge admirer of Chandrajurti, but with due respect, you cannot go to the extreme nihilistic extent of saying there is nothing called a biological man and a biological woman. It is non-scientific. It is absolutely hyperbole.
Will you please don't talk so rapidly? The Delhi High Court judgment had said very clearly that there's a thing called popular morality, and there is something called constitutional morality. Even if 99% of the people were against you, Section 377 had to go because constitutional morality said that you
what
are
he's saying, Rahul,
377 is,
what he's saying, Rahul,
against the
he's saying, Rahul, is that in the past he's trying to tell you that in the past there was a concept of a man and the woman. He's saying to you, and in the future, what Ashok Rao Kavi is saying, and don't look so shocked. I don't know why you're looking so shocked. That's what he's trying to tell you. And Nikita and Sayantika are smiling through this discussion. What he's saying to you, Vijayanti Vasanta Mowgli, who is co-founder of the Queer Swabhiman Yatra and is a well-known transgender RT activist, what you're saying is that there is no concept in the future of a man and a woman necessarily. And to bracket people as men and women is wrong. Rahul, don't start sweating at that idea. Accept it. Accept it.
What?
No, it's a reality. Accept. That's what they're telling you. That's what Justice Chandrachud is asking. How do I do this? Through this aspect of the law, through that aspect of the law. A serious discussion. The Chief Justice of India is looking at how this can be done. Why are you so shocked? Yeah, please go ahead, Vajanti. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm a living example of a person who was assigned male at birth and who now lives as a trans woman, as a woman. People may disagree with it. People may use various kinds of slurs and cuss and names. However, for me, and as far as the law is concerned, there's a comprehensive, near comprehensive Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act and rules. We are women in our own right under the law. So I'm not going to debate on what the Chief Justice of India said and what Shri Rahul Ishwarji is contesting. We as transgender persons, we as LGBTIQ plus communities and persons also want an equal share in every process and every aspect of the society. As a trans person myself and as an activist, there are very many number of cases from villages. I'm trying to demolish gradually this concept of urban elite opinion that's being floated around. There are very many cases that I have quashed in the high courts of adult consenting couples who have been forcibly separated in villages wherein the sarpanch, often the panchayats get involved, and there are kangaroo courts set up to separate 26-year-olds consensually in love in rural backgrounds who say things like, अरे ये लड़कियां कर क्या रही हैं, हमारी सब लड़कियां खराब हो जाएंगी, बहू बेटियां खराब हो जाएंगी, and they have been forcibly, coercively separated, kangaroo court set up, vigilante mobs attacking them, and we've had to move the high courts, respective high courts, with the advancement in technology. I won't take a lot of time. With the advancement in technology, love is not just within one state. There is love happening between Arunachal and Telangana, where I live. There is love happening between Himachal and Tamil Nadu, and there are cases also being filed by parents on one of the couples for having abducted, quote unquote abducted and kidnapped, because parents don't understand it. there is no legal sanction to their love, and despite the fact that couples are well over the age of consent, well over 21, time and again FIRs are being filed, they are being forcibly separated. So it is high time, with all due respect to those who are arguing against.
Vijayanti,
Yes.
you know, I'll just give you another argument on this, right? And I'd like to have the poll up as soon as possible. And stay on the screen. I'm asking, and Pramila Nesargi, you need to be more accepting. The problem is, Ms. Nesargi, you are too, I'm not going to use the word conventional. I think you have a closed mind on this subject, unfortunately. You need to understand the country is changing. That's what she's trying to tell you. The country is changing. You can't have fixed views. You can't discriminate. You cannot deny equality. And Nikita and Sayantika will fight people like you, Pramila Nesargi, if you oppose them. Am I right, Sayantika and Nikita, on this? Yeah? You want to say something to Pramila Nesargi, who has made it a life's mission to fight against this, along with Rahul Ishwar. Over to you.
So Arnab, thank you for pointing this out. And it's interesting that we have a poll going on at the moment, and while irrespective of what the poll result is, like Ashok said earlier, that there is a social morality and there's a constitutional morality, right? Just because the majority of the population has a certain opinion does not mean that the rights of the minority needs to be undermined, right? Denying us marriage right is denying us equal citizenship. It is as simple as that. A right to marriage is something that is enjoyed by every other citizen of India who is heterosexual. And if that right can be given to them, why deny it to us?
But Sayantika, what would you say to the 80% of viewers? This poll is presently going 20% yes to gay marriage, 80% no. So Nikita and Sayantika, what would you say to the 80%? Too bad? Too bad for you? You don't matter, your views don't matter? Would you say that to them?
See, that's the thing. There's a difference between your opinion not upholding and your life being compromised, suppressed, subjugated, your rights being taken away. Giving us the right to marry doesn't take away any right from the other.
No, but they're saying, 1 minute, Sayantika, they're saying, the government's saying, wasn't 377 decriminalized? What more do you want? Who is taking your rights away? They are saying, aren't you happy with that? You should be very happy with that. But you want more.
Arnab, we don't want too much. We just want what every other citizen of India has.
Good. I'm very glad 377 got decriminalized.
It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, and it has given the courage and even the platform for us to be today and talk to your guys while we had to, probably stay closeted all our lives.
Yeah.
So really thankful for that. And that doesn't end here, right? We are accepted for our identities and our sexuality. But we also fall in love. We also want to spend our life with our respective partners and have everything that a heterosexual married couple would do and all the rights that they get. Why are we denied those rights?
And Arnab, the thing is that it's not the first time that we are looking at, changing something which was traditionally, quote unquote, traditionally considered part of Indian marriage institutions. We have banned dowry. We have done away with practices like sati. Those things were something that was, as a majority, practiced across India, right? If we can change those things for the betterment of society, for a better society, for a more inclusive, accepting society, then why can't we change marriage laws when it comes to...
Okay, Pramila, let me get you into the debate. Since you, Rahul Ishwar, are all looking so restless and unhappy, my question to you, Pramila ji, is what changes with you? Suppose Sayantika and Nikita get married officially, right? Become officially a couple. What changes in your life, Rahul Ishwar's life, Deshratan Nigam's life? Let them know. You be happy, let them be happy. What's your problem?
I have no problem whatsoever. I am here to discuss the law on this subject. We are talking about equality.
Yes.
They are claiming equality and they want the marriages to be recognized, legalized. I just want to say there can be equality before equal persons. There cannot be equality between equals and unequals. There cannot
Who's
be
unequal?
equality before normals and abnormals. There cannot
Who's
be equality
unequal? Who's
before
abnormal? 1
naturals
minute. Can we have that?
and
What is unequal, ma'am?
They are unnatural.
unequal?
Their habit is
Do we
unnatural.
take lesser?
They're against
Do we take
nature.
lesser
They're
tax
unnatural.
for being LGBTQ
They cannot
Don't
be-
talk rubbish.
Our marriage can
Don't
be
talk rubbish.
recognized. Marriage is for
Do we pay lesser tax, ma'am? Why are we other? Why are we
Marriage is
unequal?
a sacrament. Marriage
What?
is for procreation. You can't say,
Volume.
I'll adopt a
Volume.
child.
No,
Volume.
ma'am, wait 1 second. 1 second.
Arnab,
Let us
One
speak.
second.
1 minute.
So if a straight couple gets married and we
Arnab,
can't have a
I
child,
wanna
their
talk.
marriage is cancelled.
Give that forum.
Arnab.
Can I have Pramila's audio,
You can't say
please?
you're equal.
They're not equal. Okay, they're not equal.
In
Yeah.
all respect, because you are
Arnab.
abnormal, you can have a separate law. You have a separate law. We are not coming
Why
into it.
separate?
You
Why-
don't
did you
say
just say we are
our
abnormal?
marriage
Ma'am,
will
could you
be
repeat that?
recognized as the regular marriages. Our marriage cannot be recognized under the Hindu Marriage Act. Your marriage cannot be recognized under the Christian Marriage Act. Your marriage cannot be recognized under the Mohammedan law or for that matter any personal law. So you have your own. Ask, demand it. Recognize our marriage. Make a law for you. We are not coming in the way. Have your own right. Whether what right of inheritance you have, what right of succession you have, who will be your parent, and what rights your children will have. What about the surrogate law? What is coming in the way? And what about the children's right? Mental health of the children, physical health, mental health, emotional health.
What do you mean?
all
What do you mean
the-
about mental health of children? What does the child require? Child requires loving parents. Child requires loving parents. There are are you saying all straight couples give brilliant trauma-free upbringing to their children? Why do so many people have mental health issues who are born of straight parents? Excuse me, what has not been
Rahul is on the Rahul on the right, please. 1 second. 1 minute.
Let us be just one quick submission. Let us be very careful about words like abnormal and unnatural. I believe everyone respects homosexual community, but the core question is, one, there is a will of the people, just like your particular voting is showing. So shouldn't we need more discussion? Shouldn't there be more deliberation? Shouldn't there be more consensus building? Shouldn't there be more sensitization?
Yes.
Shouldn't there be more
We
process
cannot-
involved? It cannot be done by whim and fancies of some people sitting there. I mean, I'm not dismissing any judge. Let there be a more elaborate process.
Rahul, the first thing is give us the right to marriage and then do whatever you want. Get 80%
Sir, marriage is a social institution.
Educated,
I know
be made aware.
decriminalization might be a personal choice, but marriage is a social
Marriage
institution.
comes with a lot of legal rights. Marriage comes with a lot
Exactly.
of legal rights.
But-
You have
Exactly.
the right to get insurance together. You have the
Exactly.
right to
Exactly.
medical intervention.
So there are
You have the right to
associated
get
rights.
Okay.
There are issues of
1 minute.
inheritance.
1 minute.
There are issues of
1 minute. Since we are
adoption.
on the legality, can I get the two lawyers in, please? Kaushik Gupta on one side and
Union of
Deshratan Nigam on the other.
cannot be equated for marriage.
Ms. Nesargi, you are first of all you have used the word abnormal and normal and superior and inferior. That was not necessary. People are angry with you right now for using that. You should not have
Yes,
done that.
I'm very angry with her.
You should not have done that. You should
Very
not have
angry.
done that. You can
They
say
have
I
a right to
disagree.
have
Say sorry.
democracy. They have a right to have.
Apologize.
I'm not even, I'm
But
not
we are
even
not
angry
abnormal.
with you,
We are not
ma'am.
abnormal.
I am just
What-
very
Okay.
Why should I apologize?
that
What
you
I
are
should say-
still stuck
See
in
the
that mindset that you can't see
Equality
people
of
in
law means what? Equality for equal people, not for unequal. Yeah, equal
Ma'am,
people.
why are we unequal?
Themselves.
Tell us why are we
Unequals are
unequal?
cast by themselves.
You are
They
being
can't be
left
equated under any circumstance. I don't apologize.
How am I unequal as a citizen?
You're not
How am
normal.
I unequal as a
You're
citizen?
not. You can't have a natural
You-
sex.
You'll have
You
to
can't have a
apologize.
this. You can't have a natural sex. How can you say you are normal?
What? What is natural sex?
What is
What?
natural sex?
What is natural sex?
Your life
What is natural
and your
sex?
imagination, your projection is
You-
itself abnormal against nature.
So, ma'am,
you are a
procreation is the only
stubborn,
reason for
silly
marriage, right?
woman.
So, what about
That
straight
is what
couples
you
who
are.
can't have children?
You
How
are
would choose to have
uneducated.
children? Their
You
marriage
don't
gets
have any
cancelled.
consideration for everybody. It's ridiculous, you know. How do you allow such a person who calls us abnormal and we are unnatural? What do you know about natural or unnatural sex? That I don't think you're talking sensibly.
I don't want to.
Clearly you don't agree
I
with
don't want to
the
go into that debate.
capacity
My question is 1 minute. 1 minute. May I?
Not
I'm
between two
surprised how
women and two
unaware you are,
men.
ma'am.
Natural,
Arnab,
natural sex is
Arnab,
Ma'am,
Arnab.
so ma'am, are you saying one second? Ma'am, are you saying that?
women, not by a
Ma'am,
man
are you
and
saying
man.
that the Supreme Court of India is wrong? Because the Supreme Court of India, while decriminalizing, was very clear that LGBT
Let us
is
see.
not normal.
Discussion is going on. Let us see.
Established
Let
that
us
this
see.
is not an
Let us
element.
see this.
Arnab.
Can-
So you
Yeah,
said-
I would say, you see, the point is politicians by nature are resistant to change. Let me tell you something, Ms. Nesargi. Don't tell me that if I had left this decision of 377 on the Parliament of India, are you telling me the Janata Dal United and the Janata Dal Secular and the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Vadra Congress and the Telugu Desam Party and the AIADMK and the CPM would all have agreed to it ever? See, Ms. Nesargi, don't be uncomfortable. The reality
I am
is
not concerning
Parliament
the
does not
politicians.
take tough
Please don't
decisions.
say. I am here to speak law. To speak what is the law, what is the constitution
And
right,
just
what
disagree
the
with the law,
constitution
because
gives.
law says that this is not a match.
Okay, if you are speaking by the law, if you are speaking by the law, then I accuse you of making an illegal comment. I accuse you. You tell me which aspect of the law says that Nikita is. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, ma'am. 1 minute. 1 minute. You tell me which article of the law says that Ashok Rao Kavi or Sayantika or Nikita are inferior to you in terms of their rights. Since you said normal and abnormal. Show me, tell me, quote me the law, I'll get into it. Don't use these words loosely with me, Ms. Nesargi. You're very senior, I don't want to speak over you. But don't use these words loosely with me. This is not some Altu-Faltu Lutyens channel. Now my question is, please, Ms. Nesargi, please listen to me. My point is on the legality of it, Kaushik Gupta and Deshratan Nigam. There are legal issues. For example, Kaushik, what about domestic violence cases? Apparently, the Domestic Violence Act currently only recognizes women as the victims and gives the right to the wife to file a petition against her husband or relatives of the husband. Right? Now, when a same-sex marriage happens where both are either male or female at birth, I'm just saying this, I don't know the complexity of it. How will the domestic violence cases apply? How will both sides be equally either victims or perpetrators of domestic violence? Second question, maintenance laws. The maintenance laws under religious personal laws differ. They are all framed in a manner in which the husband is entitled to pay maintenance. In the case of a divorce of same-sex couples, who will pay maintenance to whom? What about the financial concessions, Deshratan Nigam, which apply to a wife? For example, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. There are beneficiary schemes, central government, state government schemes, which are exclusively available to the woman. Right? Now, how will this apply in the context of same-sex marriages? These are not issues, peripheral issues, Kaushik, that we can say, "Arey, baad mein dekhenge, let us first make the change," like Ashok says. Make the change, yes, the court has to deal with these issues now, doesn't it?
Right. Absolutely. I agree. There would be a necessity of changing several laws if those laws are subservient to the rights of individuals. Here we need to understand that the right of an individual under Article 14 is sacrosanct. If a person of any orientation has a right to marry, a person has another orientation must have a right to marry. And for that, if we need to change several laws of the country, lock, stock and barrel, that must be done. And I must add that the popular opinion is of no value at all when it comes to the constitutional rights. Please remember, a very, very minute number of people supported widow remarriage. There was huge opposition from the society for abolition of sati. They were considered to be social norms at that point of time. But today, no one, even my co-panelists, will say sati is something we should uphold. Widow remarriage should not have been abolished. Therefore, it is not the popular opinion. It is about what the Constitution says. And let me remind everyone of the first sentence of the Constitution of India. We the people of India, not we the heterosexual people of India. We the people of India give to ourselves this Constitution.
No,
it is not about the popular
opinion. That is generic
opinion.
stuff. Kaushik, you're dodging my question. Deshratan Nigam, I accuse Kaushik of dodging my question. He has deliberately taken it, elevated the discussion to higher issues of morality and constitutionality, while not dealing with the very practical issues. I am saying adoption, inheritance, divorce, maintenance, custody of children, protection from domestic violence. These are issues which will have to be dealt with. You can't make a big change without dealing with the smaller issues which come with it. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, Deshratan Nigam?
No. Certainly not, Arnab. In fact, your question itself has answer in it. Reason being that once you say all these laws have to be changed, it has got to go to the Parliament. Supreme Court cannot interfere and change laws lock, stock and barrel. That is what the central government stand is. Let it be debated in the Parliament. Debate is good. Discussion is good. Nobody is denying that. And that has to take place. You know, the number of laws that you have quoted, one can quote, similar number of other laws as well, which need to be changed. Who will change it? So Supreme Court does not have legislative powers. It has got to go to the Parliament. Now, secondly, the Hindu Marriage Act or the Christian Marriage Act or the Special Marriage Act or the Mohammedan marriages, how is marriage defined? Who can change the definition of marriage? Marriage definition, Supreme Court cannot change it. It has to go to the Parliament. Allow me, anybody who has read the discussions in the Parliament when the such laws were passed, it was not about the same sex. It was all about man and women. So let me give you a few examples from the Hindu Marriage Act, which has similar provisions in the Special Marriage Act and Other Marriages Act. Now, the condition of marriage is that bridegroom has to be 21 years and bride has to be 18. This is man and women. Now, under 5 clause 4, the relationship between the two people who are marrying has to be not within prohibited degrees of marriage, of that relationship, which is we call Sapinda relationship. 5-degree difference has to be there between the person. Now, third, who can file for restitution of conjugal rights? What is restitution of conjugal right? It's sexual intercourse. Now, third, let me tell you, who can file for divorce? It says, section 13, husband or wife can file petition. And this is what the discussion had taken place in the Parliament. The intention of the Parliament at that point of time was that between two biological
Mr. Nigam,
and women.
Mr. Nigam, 1 minute. Mr. Nigam, what you're telling me is how many years back? 30 years back, 40 years back, 50 years back, 60 years back. Is society stagnant? Does society not change? Will you quote to me the rules? For example, there's been a lot of social reform and laws have changed with it. Do laws not change in line with reform? Or are you saying that society must not change? No, I said things change.
I'm not saying so. I'm not saying so. I'm not saying
then
so.
What happens?
See, the fact is, can Supreme Court gauge whether the society has changed enough to make these laws?
Is it necessary for Supreme Court to get the consent of society? Right now on my poll, 77% of viewers are saying no to gay marriage. So is the Supreme Court supposed to say, let's take a wider poll? If 51% of Indians are against it, then we will never legislate.
Let me answer that with the best of my ability.
Yes.
Let me answer that. Supreme Court does not go into the polls or the opinions, whether it is on any TV channel or any referendum done by a popular organization or not. Supreme Court, that's not the forte or domain of Supreme Court. It has to interpret the law. Now, where do you gauge the will of the people? In the parliament. Whatever system of democracy we have chosen.
So then we should, was the will of the people, was the decriminalization of gay sex wrong by that logic? There was no will of the people logic behind. 1 minute, I just want to get a counter from Vajanti. She's been wanting to come into this debate, by the way, viewers. 78% right now against gay marriage. Vajanti.
Yes. Yes. So, our rights, our fundamental rights are not up for debate. They are definitely not up for debate. People who partake in these polls are themselves perhaps not aware. I noticed that many of the speakers who were opposing it were speaking about the volume and the magnitude of work to be done to change the laws.
Yeah.
If that is so painful, if that is so difficult for them, then they can also imagine how difficult it is or how enormously traumatic it is for the very many teeming millions of LGBTIQ people to live bereft of such legal protection for decades,
let me
for
ask
centuries.
you, let me put that
Why don't
differently
people
to you.
think of
Vajanti, see, I believe everybody should have equal rights. I'm quite clear on that. But one aspect which I'm not clear about is the hypocrisy among certain sections of society. I'm not talking about you. You see, there are people who oppose triple talaq, but they support same-sex marriage. I don't understand this logic. These people say, no, there must be no uniform civil code. No, uniform civil code is a bad thing. Right-winger, BJP supporters, Hindutva lobby wants uniform civil code. We don't need uniform laws for the people of this country. Let personal laws be different for Muslims and Hindus and let that be 1,000 years from now. But we must have same-sex marriage. So I'm not understanding this. When you say, I say that 23% on the poll today who are for gay marriage, right? Their voices must be heard. But if I were to tell you today that 60%, I'm just putting a number, 55%, 70%, 80%, whatever percentage are also saying we need a uniform civil code in this country. You see, change cannot be selective, Vajanti. Yes. Change has to be for everyone. No, are we? No, 1 minute, just allow me to complete. Ashok, 1 minute. Ashok, if we are wanting to be transformational about change, then let us have the guts to also say we need a uniform civil code. You can't oppose the uniform civil code but demand same-sex marriage.
I am with you.
You're with me in this.
With you.
So I find this.
No, I am with you.
Yeah, you're with me in this.
But
you're with me. So suppose Rahul Ishwar says, I want uniform civil code. Rahul Ishwar, they'll tell Rahul Ishwar, oh, Rahul Ishwar, you're right-wing, Hindutva, bigot.
It's a multi-layered issue.
So no, it's not. It's straightforward.
I don't care who is.
My point is, are we really for change?
Multi-layered issue. It's a very nuanced issue, and we need to debate it first issue per issue. Please remember, I believe everyone will respect.
I don't understand the nuances
for thinking about.
I'll explain the nuances. Rahul, 1 minute. Rahul, 1 minute. Rahul, 1 minute. Rahul, 1 minute. He says I don't understand the nuance. 1 minute. Ashok, I'll explain to you in exactly 10 seconds. Exactly 10 seconds. Exactly 10 seconds I will explain to you.
Yes.
Since you are saying I don't understand what is this nuance, what is this argument you are trying to make.
Yeah.
I'm saying, are we for change? Real change to make the laws equal for each one of our 1.4 billion Indians? We can proudly stand up and say we are one nation, one law?
Yes.
Or are we just trying to be politically correct about it? I don't see if you're for or against gay. If you're just trying to be politically,
let me come.
Yeah, go on now. Yeah.
Let me come into this. First of all, I refuse to allow my sexuality and my right to marriage be discussed in Parliament. Parliament has no right to talk about my sexuality and my right to marriage.
Why?
They are my fundamental rights. But I
what do you want Parliament to discuss? Only your taxes?
There should be a uniform civil code.
No. Where do you draw the line? You say I don't care about my Parliament.
That's not true.
Why not? You want them to discuss what?
I draw the line where you ask for. Look, there is a person here who calls us abnormal.
That's
There's
Pramila.
A person here who calls
Pramila.
us unnatural. Yeah. Okay, then you let us decide. Let us decide on laws. Let us decide on laws which we agree to all together, like the Special Marriages Act. like the Uniform Civil Code. If I was shocked today to find out that personal marriage and succession acts come in the concurrent list. And
don't you find it ironical? Don't you find it ironical? Don't you find it ironical that in a country where people of different religions are subject to different personal laws, where we are absolutely not progressive there, we are so progressive on the issue of gay marriage? Don't you believe that the Honorable Supreme Court of India should equally look at consideration of whether we are transformative in every aspect of society, or whether just be trying to be politically correct about the aspect of gay marriage? I'm saying you want to transform.
I have a question to you.
I totally agree with you.
I completely understand where you're coming from, but I don't think we are here to debate the functionality of the Supreme Court. I think we are here to debate on this particular issue of same-sex marriage, and one doesn't take away from the other. One fight doesn't take precedence over the other. There can be concurrent fights. And supporting one, or one case being pled in court right now does not mean it's woke culture. Does not mean it's woke culture, because without it, our lives are getting affected.
There I'm with you. See, one second, Sayantika, I'm there with you, because I think Pramila Nesargi's views on same-sex marriage, where they are basically saying this is our concept of an Indian family unit, may not be right, because Pramila ji, do single mothers fit the definition of Indian family unit? Are you going to say there are 13 million Indian households? 13 million. 1.3 crore households in the country run by single mothers, Pramila Nesargi. Let me tell you. See, you should also think.
Circumstances.
What?
Circumstances have made them to be single women.
Circumstances, not choice. Choice.
Many people have
not circum. No. It may be choice. See, Pramila, this is now I am getting angry. Till now I said you're so senior, I will not talk back to you. Now what do you mean circumstances? Okay, Rahul can respond. Rahul, this is too much. This is a stereotype now.
Including Pramila ma'am,
if a man throws a lady out, she will be.
What do you mean man throws a lady out? The lady can walk out also.
Just one line. We all believe in the idea of traditional conservative.
Please, Pramila, please. Pramila, please. This is Pramila ji, I'm sorry. Don't give me this view.
Pramila, cool down.
Rahul. No, she's saying anything that comes to her mind. Rahul, Ishwar, come on, man.
Just one submission. Pramila ji, just one submission. Just one submission. People like me and Pramila ji and we all conservative people believe in the idea of the great Indian family. We believe in the idea of family with a father and the mother. But let us understand that there are evolutions in various things. But please remember, we shouldn't upend the very basic of the family. We shouldn't collapse and sabotage the very foundation of family by going to the extent that we can.
Okay, Ashok, please. Come on, Rahul, don't give a speech. Ashok is countering you, please.
Rahul, I'm counseling you. Do you know that in the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, same-sex marriages are mentioned? For heaven's sake, I don't want to create more problems here, but they have been mentioned. And yet you're saying it is only a marriage of a man and a woman. I don't understand. You are a conservative. You should know the history of the Puranas and all, and the various sexualities that are mentioned there. And you're
why do you need to go to Ramayana Mahabharata? One minute. Pramila Nesargi, you are saying you're an advocate now. You really got me upset. I don't think you know the law, man. Because on 15th April 2014, the Supreme Court in a case which is called National Legal Services, Kaushik can tell me, National Legal Services Authority versus Union of India, it held the right to self-identify one's gender, including a third gender, as an important part of the constitutional right to live with dignity.
I'm not telling you. Did I dispute it?
No, you say you are wrong then.
Did I dispute it?
Of course you're disputing the very logic of it by calling someone superior, inferior, normal, abnormal.
That is a third gender.
Let me tell you, if someone today is...
Kaushik is on the debate. Kaushik, please.
They are not coming in the way.
Go on, Kaushik.
Arnab.
1 minute, let Kaushik.
Arnab, Tamil Nadu.
Let Kaushik come in. Kaushik, go on, please, Kaushik.
Yes. If today, if anyone is calling the LGBTQ community abnormal, then that person should be prosecuted. because that person is holding views against the Constitution of India
it.
as well as the direction of the
I
Honorable
care.
Supreme Court. How
What?
dare she?
How dare she? She says, Pramila, please
Let's
cool
not
down.
be confrontational, please. Let's
Pramila,
not be confrontational, please.
Let us not be
I asked her
abusive
to
either.
apologize.
He's saying, let's not be abusive
You
either.
do it, no. I am not worried. Don't threaten me
Arnab.
like that.
Arnab,
I'm telling you the
Let's
law.
not be
Arnab.
confrontational,
You can't
please.
say, hey,
Arnab,
you
Arnab.
can't say the man is different, women is different, and third gender is different. Do you say they all three are equal? No. Physically,
Who said it's
they are made
unequal?
different.
No, 1 minute. This is
Yeah,
now again
yes,
you're
sir,
crossing
they
the
are
lines of
right.
legality. Ma'am, Parliament has passed the transgender persons bill in 2019. You ask Vajanti.
They have.
So they have. So then.
I am not disputing.
Arnab, I think
Yes,
we
Vajanti
have
respond,
now-
please.
We are
Vajanti,
not
why don't you
saying
respond?
that we
Vajanti,
are-
Vajanti can respond
We
to you.
are not saying
Vajanti on the
that we
left.
can't
Vajanti, what? It's passed the 2019 the
equal, but
Transgender
not
Persons
same.
Protection of Rights Bill, and it says
Arnab,
this is.
We are all equal, but not
Arnab.
same is the constitutional position.
Arnab, I think
Arnab.
we are
We are
moving
all
past the
equal, but
equal
not same.
unequal debate. I think one person's bigoted view is immaterial in the face of actual law. So I don't think this is relevant at all to this discussion. Whether a ma'am thinks we are equal or unequal does not change what the Supreme Court has
Well,
already
I
established.
just say this. I
We are
close
all
here.
equal, but not same.
Yeah. Who wants to be same? You're not the same as me. I'm not the
Arnab,
same as you, man.
Arnab,
Exactly.
just
That's
Nobody's
the position.
fingerprint matches.
not
what is
equal
your
or
concept
unequal.
of
We are
same?
all different
Okay,
in
now,
that sense.
Now, okay, I wish I could have extended this, really trending this debate. The good part is,
Arnab,
yes, Ashok.
Arnab,
Yes, Ashok.
Vajanti, 1 minute. The first state to recognize a marriage between a male and a transgender was Tamil Nadu. Please tell her that. You know, I do not understand why people are not looking at facts that are already on the ground.
Well, let me
These
just tell
marriages
you,
are being
since you
accepted
mentioned
in
Tamil
many
Nadu,
states.
you remember the landmark judgment, Madras High Court 2021. It banned any attempts to quote-unquote cure the gender identity or sexual orientation of people to protect the rights of LGBTQI communities. So there are legal basis for this. This debate is trending. You know,
Yes.
I'll tell you, viewers, a lot of you may be against it, but the fact is you're all talking about it. My job is to start the public debate on this.